maybe just having him bouncing off the ropes at the moment a little bit. Very evenly matched when you look at their top scores. 6.83 versus 6.93.
Yeah, he's cooking at the moment. Just looking so hot, so fresh. So Italo looks to get things started. He's up against Kanoa Igarashi out there in the lineup at the moment. Good matchup, this one. Inside, a bit of bump on the face to deal with. Kanoa also getting in on the mix.
Yeah, Kanoa gets a nice pockety wave. Out behind out behind Italo, excuse me. Goes for the air rev. Again, one of the standout goofy footers here. Different approach to, say, Conor O'Leary and Yago Dora. He prefers to be a bit more, get more trickery involved.
Kanoa Igarashi looking to really click into the form that's seen him go on to claim a CT win.
As we look at some of the replays here, this was Kanoa Igarashi. So you can see just all that bump and Kanoa getting through it. Tricky section here. But that's a better way.
You know, there's not going to be a whole lot of movement now. It's becoming a little more clear, but we'll have to wait till the end of today's action to get a better look at who's in danger of falling out of the top 22, as Kanoa Igarashi almost rides out of a high-risk finish there. He would have loved to have gotten out in front of that whitewater. Here we go. Igarashi up live, and he is just looking to get rid of 4.17 out of this one. Of course, he still hasn't moved into that second half of this overlapping heat, so he's going to have time to really jack the numbers up. But that was a nice sequence of moves on a medium-sized ride here to try and really apply some pressure to Italo, the 2019 world champion. You know, it was really sort of a one day of true Italo form that saw him get to that result. It wasn't a masterful campaign through 2022 for him.
No, I tend to agree with you. And, you know, he was so dominant for a couple of years there, where he was just winning everything. He was such a hard competitor to come up against. As we see the replay of Kanoa Igarashi, you know, that is really textbook frontside slash, and then he goes to the air rev on the second turn. See there, just bring the fins around.
He's setting the pace though, Igarashi now, 6.33 on that last ride, but Italo finds a much lumpier, thick piece of water to tap into on the final section there.
Let's take a look at the replay here. So this is Italo. Just stabs a vertical hit to start things off. Bumpy section down the line, up and over, drifts the big, long, lip-gliding floater. But pretty remarkable how he could just change direction there off the bottom turn, throws it up skyward. But it's a different sort of backhand approach, isn't it, Ron? The way Italo attacks a wave with a lot of energy. We'll discuss that down the line, because another man screaming down the line here, and that's Italo Ferreira. Big, tall wave here. Two-turn combination. That's been the order of the day for Italo.
But right now on the outside, we've just seen Italo finish off a ride. He's up against Kanoa Igarashi. Needed a 5.44. And that's after watching a whole lot of heats. What he was able to do in the final with Kelly Slater last year was just mind-blowing. You know, turning in a near-perfect ride in the late stages. But
you feel when you're surfing this wave, this is live action, Italo.
Yeah, Italo just building at the moment. He's had a run of 6-point rides, but he wants more. He wants to start getting back up into that excellent range. Oh my goodness, can he ride out of this thing? Hanging on. That is just a wild set of rapids that you have to try and power through.
And was about as deep as you can get. Gone for all money, and then he came through it.
Here we go, Kanoa Igarashi up at the moment, trying to get ahead of Italo. Kanoa, he did so well down at Bells to elevate his position a little on the rankings, but he expects a lot more of himself, and that's not it. Not on that final section.
Characteristic, man. You just don't see Kanoa do this very often.
Round of 16 at this venue. So to come here looking for a big result is always going to be difficult. He's had moments where he's looked like he's switched back on, like right there. But then when he was just typically so strong at reading tricky sections.
With Italo, I'll get back to this point in a sec, because it looks like Kanoa is actually going to take off here.
Well, let's see if he can clean things up. He's had a number of average rides, and this one's looking a little cleaner through the inside. Falls off the roof of this one, stomps it, gets back out in front again. But again, didn't really find the space to truly open up on that ride as Italo comes flying down the ride. And you know what he's thinking, massive backside reverse. He's hanging on for the finish, gets out in front, and he sticks it. And that is like a whole new level of commitment. That's a dry section. He's celebrating. A little more switched on than Kanoa has.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I look at just the difference in speed, but have a look at this thing. Takes to the air, covers about 10 feet in the projection of that backside rotation, and I can't even begin to explain just how turbulent this water is that he lands on. Does so well to get the projection here, Ron.
Unbelievable. The thing about this ride is if he just takes a straight line out in front of this wave, it's still treacherous, what he's attempting. You're basically surfing out over dry reef. But the thing is, he launches himself into the sky. We know he's got a high strike rate with that move. And there is, times when, Rich, we've looked at that manoeuvre and said, yeah, we've just seen it so often, but we haven't seen too much of it this year from him. And that was a stellar version of the move. Again,
the point I was going to make is, I feel like a couple of years ago we were always going, how did he make that? How did he do that? Oh, my God.
He's going to really struggle now to turn this one around. He's after an 8.98, and he had this one during the replay of that big backside air, a couple of big blasts.
Yeah, just two very solid manoeuvres connected on the backhand. And an incredible wave stood right up for him, and you can see blast the tail out, gets a little drift on the coping, the top of the lip there, sits back on the heel side rail. And again, the backsiders, they're in a moment where they're riding blind because they're looking back into the foam. They're not looking down the line like the natural footers do. And, it's come at the expense of Kanoa Igarashi, unfortunately. But the man, he's all pumped up. Italo Ferreira moves through.
Well, buckle up. We got another big heat to round out the round of 32.